there it was. Just pulled into my house, my place, and going to get a shower. I just laid waste to Jason Voorhees, the man behind the mask, the notorious butcher of Camp Crystal Lake, the man of the woods, the man who had tormented a New Jersey community for decades and decades and decades. And I laid waste to him. Not only did a sense of ease and relaxation make itself known to me, I also felt a sense of triumph. Me and my friend Katrina had done it, even though the ordeal cost her life. But the dagger that she supplied me with, her effort, her sacrifice, our teamwork, made the dream work. I walked into my house and went straight to my bathroom. Went to my shower. Placed the dagger right on the counter of the sink next to the shower. I turned on the warm water and waited several seconds. And then promptly began to undress myself and hopped in. Steam slowly began to gather as the hot water graced itself upon my skin, rinsing and purifying my body. I've always loved hot showers. They're so relaxing and so therapeutic. It just has a way of just easing you. Warm water in general, not just hot shower water, but jacuzzi water, even ocean water, especially down in the subtropics when it gets really warm in the summertime. It just sets you at ease. It's nice and relaxed. Not a care in the world. Suddenly, the drain in my shower began to open. This enormous gray hand grabbed my ankles. I frantically shook it. There was nothing I could do. I was being dragged down into the drain. Somehow I could fit through it, and before I could be dragged down, I managed to grab the dagger from the counter next to the shower. I could see the rotting white hockey mask staring at me. Jason, I thought to myself, was being dragged down into the underworld. Down to hell where the devil belonged. Down deep to the other underworld. Where a disgusting thing resided now. Had the dagger knife sliced the asshole's hand. The grip loosened momentarily, and I was able to make my escape. I started to climb back up toward the drain, which was now a full-blown tunnel that was several feet wide. Somehow, someway, it And then I woke up. I was in my bed. I looked around and jumped out. I hovered, looking around my bedroom. Nothing was out of place, nothing was... Then I went to my bathroom and... Okay, the dagger was on the sink counter, right next to the shower, still. I looked at the window and... the mirror, rather. There's still a little bit of condensation left from when I took a shower earlier. I have a bad habit of dozing off a little bit earlier than I would mean to, sometimes. Especially after a long day of work, but... now... get it. Oh, what a nightmare, I thought to myself. Still, I wonder about my friend Katrina, who passed away earlier today. She was more of an acquaintance than a friend, but without her I wouldn't have been able to take that bastard down. I thought to myself. I looked around, checked around my house, checked the windows, the doors, searched around a little bit. Realized there was nothing missing, nothing was off kilter, off balance, or anything like that. I shook my head and put the dagger on my nightstand next to my bed and began to doze off once more. I woke up. I reached over to my nightstand and checked my phone. Clock read 7:30 in the morning. Not a bad time. I get up out of bed and head to the kitchen. Put some pants on. Nice little tank top on and begin to cook myself some breakfast. I'll make myself some breakfast, rather. Some cereal, banana, yogurt, and some water. And I started to eat. I usually like to sit and eat in peace and quiet, but I decided to turn the TV on. Flipped on the news, and to my shock, well, not really my shock, but my surprise, there was a report. It was a news report stating that the body of Jason Voorhees was believed to have been found on the bank of Crystal Lake, decapitated. I nodded to myself. Yep, that bastard's gone. I nodded in satisfaction. Interestingly enough, the police also found 5 more bodies on the other side of the lake. 3 were of several young women believed to be in their early to mid-20s. 2 more of a married couple. Must have gotten them sometime before I got to them. I didn't know. It hadn't said how long they had been dead or when they found their bodies, but if only I got to him sooner. Me and Katrina got to him sooner, I thought to myself. I shook my head. About a month went by. There were no more nightmares, no more feelings of being watched or followed, or paranoid feelings in my house, or anything like that. Then I decided to take a day off from work and do some fishing on Lake Pucho. It was a pretty solid bass spot, so I decided to rig up my kayak, my gear, and make my way out. So I headed to the lake. I finally got there. Got to a nice parking spot. Loaded my kayak from my truck and headed on out. It's a decent little patch of sawgrass next to a nice little drop-off, so that looked like a good spot. Casted out my plastic worm and slowly began to crank it and jerk it a little bit. Jerk and a couple slow cranks. Then a hookup. I got one. My drag screamed for a little bit, and then a gorgeous fish bursted out of the water. On a 7 or 8 pounder, good sized fish. It took me a minute or so to reel her in, but I finally got her boat side. I removed the hook and lifted her. My right hand on her lip and then my left hand supporting her midsection. Oh, that's a gorgeous fish. I put her back in the water and allowed for the fresh water to flow through her gills. After a few seconds, she whipped away and swam off. I knew I picked a good day for this, I thought to myself. I cast it again, the same spot, several feet away, and began to jerk again. Slow twitch, 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 as I reeled. Tension on the line again. Got another one, I shouted. This one was gorgeous. It took me about twice as long to reel this one in. This must have been a 10 or an 11 pounder. It was just a gorgeous fish. Ah, what a beauty. Lifted her up. Took a picture, like I did the first one, and put her back in the water. And I saw something in the water. It was just I thought I saw I thought I saw something for a second, but then it was gone. And I guess I was seeing something. And then I began to move off to a different spot. After several casts, about 10 casts to that one, I didn't get any more bites. So, moved to a different spot. This was next to a fallen tree. It was going off of a grass bed and down into a trench. Casting my plastic worm out. Began to twitch again. And my reel screamed. Oh, this is a monster, I thought to myself. I allowed the drag to peel off as the fish ran. I jerked my pole up and began to reel. Jesus, this must be close to a state record, I shouted to myself. I reeled and pumped, reeled and pumped, reeled and pumped. After several minutes, I managed to get her boat side, and the fish was enormous. Could have been 14, maybe 15 pounds. Just a gorgeous fish. Whopper of a fish. What a beauty, I thought to myself. It was shy of the state record, and after several pictures and put her on the boca grip, I lowered her down back in the water and let her go. After several seconds, I noticed it plop in the water, coming up from below. That's a big one feeding, I thought to myself. So I cast it upstream, began to twitch the lure back to me. I twitched several times, and after a few seconds, it was almost like a blur. My drag screamed, and it pulled so severely and so violently. And then my kayak began to be towed. What the hell is going on? I thought to myself, what the? Then I was pulled underwater, violently. It was so blurry, I didn't have goggles on, I couldn't really see clearly. See the outline of the sunlight in the water, but I couldn't. After several seconds, I was out of the water, but I was somewhere else. In this dark, grimy place. There was no sunlight. There was this big, what appeared to be moonlight, but it was different. Couldn't make it out. I looked around, and all I could see was nasty, muddy, disgusting swampland as far as the eye could see. Then I fell through, falling down into a deeper level. Falling down. Something that was almost like an underground labyrinth. Underground tunnels. I screamed. Hello? Anybody here? Hello? But no one answered. I searched and searched and shouted. Got no answer. I went deeper and deeper and further into the maze, the labyrinth, the tunnel. I had no flashlight, but it was dimly lit by something. I couldn't make out what it was up in front, but got closer to the light, I noticed something. Something had barged in through the wall of the tunnel. This tall, lumbering figure. Jesus, it was Jason. He was coming towards me, walking at a steady pace. He was bigger now than ever before, almost 7.5, 8 feet tall almost. Possibly muscular. It was almost like his entire figure was chipped out of marble or solid steel. He was huge, he was enormous, he was impossibly large. His mask was different now. It was forged out of stainless, clear steel. Hellish yellow red eyes staring out. Sharp. It was a different shape as well. It was almost in the shape of a sharp spade or a shovel. The hole was coming out, heaving greatly, shoulders going up and down, breathing heavily, enraged. The beast was enraged. The devil was enraged. He was just... God, I thought this dude was a problem when he was alive. Look at him now. Fuck. This bastard needs to stay right here. I reached for the dagger, but couldn't find it. I packed it with me just in case this would happen, but I must have lost it when I was being dragged down here. I turned and I ran. Ran as fast as I could. Something whiffed by my head. It was a knife being thrown at me. It whiffed by my head and landed on the ground several feet to my left. I didn't even look back, I just kept on running. Scanning at the same time scanning the ground for the dagger, trying to find what I had lost. Fuck, where was it? I thought to myself. I scurried up, attempting to climb up the labyrinth, but it was no use. Then I budged the wall, tried to do what Jason did, and it was no use either. I looked behind me and he wasn't in pursuit, but that didn't mean that somehow, someway, suddenly he was right next to me again. About 10 feet behind me. I took off running once again. Great, this motherfucker can teleport. What the hell am I gonna do? I thought to myself, sweating. Made it to another one. Somehow, someway, there was this old, rotted ladder, but it's good to climb up. So I began my ascent. About 20 seconds later, I looked down and I noticed Jason following me up. Or what I thought was Jason. I didn't know if I was dreaming or hallucinating. I shook my head. I was like, oh god, this has got to be a dream. This can't be real. I have to be dreaming. This can't be real. I have to be dreaming. I climbed up. I climbed and I climbed and I climbed. Heart throbbing, pounding in my chest. My breathing began to get shorter and shallower. I climbed and I climbed. Until I finally made it back up to the swamp. I was in some different dimension or world. When I made it back up to the ground level, I finally saw the dagger. It's notched into the ground. I lifted it and ran behind a tree. I waited for Jason to peer out of the hole. The second he did, when his body shone in the moonlight, I just couldn't believe what the fuck I was seeing. The monstrosity that he had become was just unspeakable. 8 feet tall, shoulders almost 4 feet across. Rippling muscles. Inhumanly large. He must have been, God, 700, 800 pounds now. It's almost like his body was made anew. Just solid, rock solid, like marble or steel, titanium, just... He was just a brand new monster. A brand new man. His head weaved back and forth, slowly and silently stepping around the moonlit swamp. Looking, watching, waiting for me to come, waiting to find me. Had the dagger in my hand. He slowly began to make his way toward the tree that I was hiding behind. It was right on the water's edge, and he was beginning to come around where I was, slowly, looking. I was right where it was dry enough so the mud wouldn't make any noise, so I slowly paced around. I was right behind him now. I lunged and I placed the dagger right in his kidney. But the dagger point wouldn't penetrate his body. I tried again where his ribs were. Multiple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I stabbed at him, but the dagger wouldn't penetrate his flesh. I tried again and again and again, but it wouldn't penetrate him. As I observed, it was like his body was made, it was still flesh, but it was made of stone. Solid as stone, solid as steel, rock solid. I couldn't penetrate his flesh at all. I couldn't do anything. There's nothing I could do. I backed away. There's nothing I could do. I backed away. Slowly and steadily. Slowly, he turned around. He tilted his head and stared at me. He reached to his side, moving and revealing this monstrous blade. A machete so big it was almost like a katana. Gorgeous silver, transparent katana. So shiny and so sharp, it was just... It was mind-boggling. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. With one swipe, he sliced right through the cypress tree. It was hardly even a split second. The tree was cut in half. It was impossibly large. It was almost 4 feet wide. How did he... He looked back over at me. He looked back over at me and nodded his head very slowly, staring at me. I took off running. I didn't know how or... Jesus, this thing was... God. I ran and I ran. I tried, I went as hard as I could. I didn't know where to go, what to do. I just kept running. I kept going and going. Then I dove into the water and where I came from, and I tried to look for my kayak, but I couldn't find it, so I dove and I swam. Dove in, I swam. Then I began to see some light. It wasn't the moonlight, it was bright gold light, sunlight. Yes, sunlight. Finally breached the water's surface, I began to swim. It was late afternoon now, and the sun was beginning to set, slowly. Pounded and pounded, and I made it to the shoreline and tried to see if I... Fuck, did I still have my car keys? I did. Somehow my kayak was nowhere to be found, but my car keys were still in my pocket. I ran to my truck and I started the engine. So I was starting the engine, the monster began to emerge from the lake. His incredibly large body, his sword, his metal mask, staring right at me. I sped off. Oh, we're in for a hell of a time, I thought to myself. I didn't know what to do. Well, what the hell am I going to tell the cops? I'm never going to believe this. He's back. This time, I don't think there's any stopping him.